Now, let's next meaty thing we can chew on. Now, this is Halo Infinite. They started off the show with this, showing off gameplay, which I was expecting them to kind of have it at the end, but I respected that they showed it right off the bat, full blown into gameplay. We'll pick it apart, but what do you think overall with what they showed with that Halo Infinite gameplay?
It was definitely weird coming from having. I'm going to pull this up now.
Mhm.
Watching it on my phone. On my phone, it looked absolutely phenomenal. It
Mm.
looked really, truly fantastic. So I didn't get to. I mean, I think the gameplay looks fun. It looks like old school for the most part Halo, uh, and that's what we wanted, and that's kind of what we got. I definitely do get the complaints, kind of about the graphics now that I've seen it. And I saw a Digital Foundry's sort of explanation about why the graphics look bad, which is something I've never had words to, where stuff is lit in this particularly funny way, um, where it looks glowing. And I'm glad they kind of gave me some words for something I've seen in so many games now. But yeah, I'm looking at it right now, and yeah, it does look funny, and I don't know that they're going to be able to fix that time. I guess one of the people on Twitter that works at Bungie was just like, guys, it's a work in progress. But as we talked about today, like, yeah, that you better progress fucking fast because you got what, 4 months?
4 months, yeah.
Um, so we'll see, and we don't know if this is, is this Series X gameplay, or is this regular gameplay? If this is Series X gameplay, is the lighting suddenly gonna just jump dramatically when they throw all the stuff on? I don't know, but yeah, gameplay looks fun, so we'll take that.
So there's a one thing to add. You asked if this is on Series X. So they did confirm after the event that this was running on PC hardware that had the same specs that are comparable to an Xbox Series X. So it's not running on the thing yet. And they've said that this is an older build. Those are all things that are fair, that are common in games when we see the demos run. It's just you kind of want to not. And I wouldn't say they fucked this up at all, but if we're just kind of picking it apart, you kind of want to not fuck this up and give anyone really any room to kind of find these little bits and talk about how the lighting isn't quite there yet and falls flat. And one thing they also talked about is how there's RTX update is going to come eventually for this, so it's not going to be there for day one. So I'm not sure, since it is 4 months out, what is going to change from this demo. But it has a lot of people curious, like, what are we going to expect when we see this come holiday season?
Sure. Yeah. It is honestly too bad that, like, the graphics were so jarring that the conversation became about the graphics rather than the game itself. Because yeah, the game looks fun. I'm still trying to see if you can aim down sights with something that is not.
So I watched it over a couple times since I told you, because I had told you, like, oh, I was pretty sure you could aim down sights. You don't, and I think they made a conscious effort of showing you don't aim down sights. The closer you get to it is the battle rifle that they have. You have the scope version, but you could do that in all of Halo games. So I was just seeing that for some reason in my memory. I thought that they had added that, but that is not a thing. Let's go over some things that they do add for the first time in this trailer. So I mean, there's some new things we got to see. There's the grappling hook. I think it's called the hook shot, that's cool. That's a whole new Halo thing. We got, the sprint aspect is still there. One thing I found really cool about that grappling hook is that it's timed. So you have a little meter that does drain once you use it. So you can't just zip around the map, although you can use it on terrain and enemies and even objects, so you can pull it closer to you. But you mentioned the gameplay looks fun. That's my big thing, is that this looks fun as hell. We can pick apart the graphics. I get that. That's a whole other conversation. But I think they focused on this thing runs at 60. It looks fun. It's super sandboxy, and that's really what I want to see with Halo. I might still have my criticisms, but like I'm now even more stoked to play this after watching this demo.
Sure. Yeah. No, it looks. Hopefully, it's what they put all this time and effort into. That they say that they made a custom engine for this game because it can't be made on anything else. So hopefully, we get to see what that is that couldn't be done anywhere else, because like they mentioned, like there's a time of day cycle on this, but you can do a dynamic time of day in Unreal. So I haven't seen anything that couldn't be done in Unreal so far, I guess, is my thing. And again, they say their ability to make tools, to make other tools, which allows gameplay designers to just go nuts, hopefully that's there. Maybe they're really expanding Forge. That would
Mm,
be amazing. I think if you have, like maybe I've talked to you about this already, but like a Forge, where you can really, really go nuts, because you look at how much, Hammer Editor allowed people to go nuts with uh, Counter Strike, and
mm.
really any sort of Half Life game or anything related to that engine. People go nuts. The modding community go nuts. So if you have people going crazy on PC, doing all these mods, making these crazy fun game modes, and then you allow them to uh, port that to the Xbox through some system, then you're just going to have this community that's just growing and growing and growing and do all these amazing things. This game will have more legs than you ever know what to do it with. And that could be why they need an engine. If you have this engine that can handle all these, it just as much as players can throw at it, that could potentially be. So I'm hoping that's what we find out. I don't feel like this game has truly revealed its hand yet, and I cannot wait to see what that is. And I hope I'm right, and I think I'm right,
Yeah,
but
I
we
think
don't.
you're. I share those same hopes that they haven't shown everything. I mean, obviously, they really haven't shown much besides this initial chunk. But yeah, I'm hoping that the claims of having to build a new engine is based on something like having to fully, detail Forge. At the moment, though, it doesn't look like this engine on the surface level shows that this is like a next gen built from the ground up thing. I think this looks like you could argue that this is an Xbox One X game. I wonder the reality is of their development time, if this was maybe meant intentionally to release cross platform from the get go, and does that mean that One X holds it back, or is it able to scale higher for Series X? I don't know. I think this one does show me that the fact that they are trying to shoot for every console release with all these newer next gens coming up, or next gen
Yeah.
games coming up rather, I feel like it does kind of hold it back. I don't get the vibe that this is built from the ground up and it only can be done on next gen. I don't think that is, and maybe if they didn't kind of claim that, then I wouldn't be as worried. But so far,
I
it's
guess that's the thing. They didn't claim that. They said from the get go this is going to run on
they
Series
did.
X
You're
as
right.
well as One X.
You're right about that, but I guess part of the marketing is tied around the Series X being this like graphical juggernaut. This is the most powerful next gen console, and and I'm not saying that's not true. It's just what also has been kind of marketed as the flagship for the Series X is Halo Infinite, and to not really have this thing completely turned up doesn't show me that I really need to buy an Xbox Series X for this. Now, granted, part of the marketing is saying just that. You don't need a Series X to play this. You can play this on your Xbox One, on your phone, on xCloud. Like, you don't need this new device, but give me a reason why I should like look over the fence and start wondering how I'm going to buy this thing. But at the moment, this game, I feel like I can play it on my Xbox One X just fine.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I totally agree. Uh,
Now, there's some other stuff we can pick apart. Now, I guess I'm curious and I'm theorizing. Is it possible, and I really think they want to avoid this at all costs, but is it possible that this gets pushed back past that Series X launch?
it's possible. I certainly hope not. When you consider this could be the first time that a Halo game has released alongside an Xbox since the original.
Right.
Uh, which, to be fair, they've only had like 4 generations. It's not like Sony and Nintendo where they've had a bajillion generations of consoles. Well, I guess Xbox kind of jumped in right around the PlayStation 2. So I guess it's not like Nintendo in the sense that they've had a bajillion consoles.
Right. It's been
Um,
20 years.
but has it? Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
2001, I want to say, was the Xbox.
felt that in my bones.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember buying this thing like the original Xbox, so it's like yeah, it's been some time. But no, I mean, I'm just kind of like maybe not trying to be gloom and doom, but I wonder if the reception was negative enough. I don't think it is for them to be like, maybe we need to make sure that this thing is graphically demanding of something for the Series X. The thing is, though, it's not only for the Series X. It's something that you can stream. It's something you can play on your regular Xbox. So as long as the core gameplay is intact, which I think it is, that's why they focused on it for this demo. I think it's going to be a blast. It's just, you kind of want to make sure your ducks are in a row for the internet, because the internet does what it does. It shits on everything. And this had a lot of moments where you could easily shit on it.
Yeah, yeah, totally agree. So
But I'm overall still very positive on it. I can't wait. I haven't been excited for Halo in a long time. I was even looking at T-shirts because one of the presenters on the stream had this really dope light blue T-shirt that said Infinite on it, Halo Infinite on it, and I was just like googling how do I find that shirt because it looks dope, and I'm now a full blown like Halo fanboy again. I'm very excited, but I understood some of the criticisms that people had. I do think it looks better when you watch their 4K stream or like the actual like straight YouTube stream, which they do recommend. It doesn't look as bad. Like there's better textures, although you can still see in Digital Foundry, which did a great breakdown, and a lot of it ended up going over my head. But they did a great breakdown on like the pop in the background and some of the textures, the lighting being the main thing. So assuming they can fix those things in 4 months, then this will look better. I just don't know. That's a lot to do.
Yeah, the lighting thing definitely surprised me kind of the most. And I guess I didn't realize how little games can handle self shadows. And well, you definitely see it in games. I was kind of like looking at other games on Twitch after having watched that video and saying who can really do what. Definitely looking at the newest Call of Duty, which is just an absolute jaw dropper.
Mm-hmm.
I still think still has some of that weird glowing model effect, but more so it's willing to let models be dark, absolutely all the way black. It's willing to take that chance. So I mean, it's definitely crazy that the current Call of Duty just blows this game out of the water, and it's definitely got world that's just as big when you look at the battle royale mode.
That's very true.
And it's moving around that mode at 1,000 miles an hour. God forbid you have a hard drive dedicated to anything else. So we'll.
Now, there were some little news tidbits they talked about after the trailer. One of them is that, so I kind of pulled these from various outlets on the internet. Halo Infinite will be the platform for new Halo experiences for the foreseeable future. So no Infinite 2 or Halo 7 in the near future. They're setting this up as like a games as a service kind of thing. You log in here, there's updates, there's DLC, but Halo itself is now this. It's Halo Infinite.
We better have cool modes. That's all I can say. You better keep those fun modes popping out. Give us those highlights. That's why I think the community made content would be great for this. Community made maps.
Oh yeah,
modes. That could really keep it going. But hopefully, we'll have to see. I mean, didn't they do that with Halo 2 or 3, where like the zombie mode came out of Forge?
Oh yeah, there's that one. There's like a Griff Ball or whatever. That's a community built mode. So like if they lean on that creative aspect of it, but it seems like just also from the campaign, they're building the ring as itself, like where they can add levels to it. They can add like just content, sort of like Destiny, where they just keep adding stuff to it. So you don't have to worry about Halo, the next Halo. You just have this game and you buy the DLC, but they just keep supporting this thing as a whole, and that's what the next series of Halo is. It's just Infinite.
We'll see. It'd be interesting if they could make that work. I mean, it worked for Microsoft. Experimented with that with Killer Instinct, and it paid off gloriously. Took about a season to really get going, but fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'm still very positive. Now it's on point to apparently release this holiday season. There still isn't an exact date. It's just for Series X and for Halo Infinite. It's holiday 2020. So we'll see what comes out with that. But yeah, that was the big kind of takeaway from the show. And everyone kind of picked it apart. And there were some agreeable or understandable criticism. Some people were just talking shit as they do on the internet.
Right. Can't be helped.
No. One thing I did think, and they drove this home with this conference, and I feel like this is it could be its own conversation on its own. It's Game Pass, so they made sure that you understood it with this conference. Everything you saw here that was first party, which it was, is Game Pass content. So you get to play it once it comes out. For once you have that subscription, it's $15 a month. It's all on Game Pass. They're really setting Xbox.
Is it really $15 a month?
For Ultimate, for sure. I want to say regular Game Pass might be cheaper than that, but Ultimate for sure is $15. And there's deals all the time for like $5. Ultimate is where you have PC and Xbox included in there, and I want to say xCloud is also included in that tier.
God, that's a expensive. I mean, I don't know if they bring xCloud to PC and I can run Cyberpunk on my PC until they come out with the Xbox Series X HD.
Yeah. Okay.
then yeah, I'll probably pay $50 a month. But as is, that's more than all my subscriptions combined.
Now, I hear you on that, but let's break that down. So that's $15 a month, and you get, now say this is the prime time to get it, but you have Halo Infinite, which is a $60 title. It's part of the Game Pass. You have Forza, you have all the games that are already on there. They have Red Dead 2, they have some of the newer Doom games. They have a bunch of stuff on there. So it's like, it is $15 when you put in the context of all the other subscriptions.
Are you saying
Yeah,
50 or 15?
15.
Oh, I thought you were saying 50.
Nope.
I don't give a shit about 15. I give a shit about 15 times, what is that, like 3.25?
It's math, yeah.
Yeah, we did them quick maths. No, that'd be, yeah, 3.25s.
Mm.
No, 3.33 repeating. All right, anyway,
Doesn't
but
matter. Doesn't matter.
yeah, 15. No, that's my Hulu subscription plus
Gotcha.
$1. I don't, yeah, 15. I'll do that all day.
Yeah, I
Sure.
mean, so yeah, it's a great deal, and that's the thing. It's they're really setting this up as its own platform. I think they're focusing less on other aspects, and they're really just showing, hey, whatever you play this on, we don't care. And they're almost even kind of throwing. That's the vibe I get. They're throwing Xbox Series X a little bit by the wayside. Whatever you have, we just want you to have Game Pass or XCloud, whatever their Xbox service is, to keep you on the loop, and that's where you get the best bang for your buck. So no matter where you are, you get to play this thing, and it's kind of and I've seen other people online break this down to a better degree. If you were to put this in the context of what we want as gamers, everyone's talking about like, oh, we need a Netflix for gaming, or that's a common thing. If you pay per month, but you get all this access to stuff, that's what they're doing. They're creating that where they have all this content. You pay per month, and if you want to buy titles, you still can. You can still buy the full titles that you own, and Netflix doesn't even offer that. It's kind of amazing, a deal to see them do that, and no other platform, no other gaming company is trying to do that kind of that to that degree, anyways.
And then you look at Epic, which is just handing you free shit willy nilly to
Mm-hmm.
try and get you over here. Yeah, it's weird. All these different routes people are taken at this point, and
Yeah.
they are very very different. So no one's really done this, and we're trying it out. And man, did they just make Google Stadia look fucking dumb? Especially if XCloud comes to PC, Stadia has literally nothing at this point.
Yeah.
What
That's an accurate reaction to, yeah, because what is Stadia providing? I mean, xCloud is just eating their lunch, and you have all these titles that are already there, because that was one big thing with Stadia. They don't have the content behind it to demand the monthly, subscription. And Xbox says, hold my 360 controller. Here you go. I got your back. All this stuff here. And xCloud is left in the dust, a Stadia. Unless Stadia pulls that out of their ass, I mean, they'd have to dramatically drop the price per month, but also have a all included price point. They don't have that right now with Stadia. You pay to access their service to then buy the games. They need to drop all that shit and let you pay per month and have access to everything. And that's what xCloud is going to do. And so if they don't get their shit together by September, I don't see how they survive longer than another, year from now. I don't get how that works.
And this is the thing, like Google is so willing to throw money at stuff only to throw it away immediately.
Right.
This is why I'm curious. I'm logging in right now to see if I can still play xCloud on my phone for free. Could not sign in. There was an issue signing in.
Yeah, there's a beta. I'm not sure if the beta is still running, but it's getting closer to September where I guess they would stop that beta. But I know
Oh
they
shit!
expanded the titles on that beta for a while.
Right. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
that's where I
try.
first played. I played Gears 5 on that xCloud service for the first time, and it ran pretty good. Like there's still issues for sure, but just to have that and have it work along with Game Pass, I mean, it's just it's all stacking up really against Stadia going forward.